We start with breaking news from Germany, where police in the city of Halle say 2 people have been killed in a shooting. The police have just tweeted that they've arrested 1 person. Now, the Daily Bild, a German newspaper, has said on its website this shooting took place in front of a synagogue. Let's get more from our security correspondent, Frank Gardner. A few details coming through. What's clear?
Not much, actually. There are subsequent reports that it might possibly have been outside a kebab shop rather than the synagogue. But an earlier report said that the assailants threw a hand grenade into the cemetery at the synagogue. If it was indeed the synagogue that was the target, then that's significant because today is Yom Kippur, a very holy day for Jewish people all over the world. There were reports that the attackers used a submachine gun, that they fled in a car and they were dressed in kind of military-style fatigues. Nobody yet has claimed responsibility, so let's keep an open mind on who might be behind this. But another report says that the police have managed to apprehend one of the attackers.
The police obviously have to treat this very seriously, giving advice to local residents to stay as clear as possible. Well,
until they've caught both people, then theoretically there is still somebody at large with a firearm. Germany is no stranger to terrorist attacks, along with most other European countries. There have been both jihadist and far-right extremist attacks in Europe, and of course a number of attacks on synagogues. There was Pittsburgh, there were a number of others, one in California. If, as I say, that was the target, then today would be a very significant day for it to happen, but we still don't know yet. And I think there is there's an unfortunate history of people jumping to the wrong conclusions, such as the Anders Breivik attack in Oslo a few years ago, which everyone thought was jihadist. He turned out to be far-right extremist. There was the one in Madrid in 2004, which even the Spanish government initially blamed on ETA. It turned out to be Al-Qaeda. So let's wait and see what the German police investigators come up with. But it's still an unresolved situation at the moment.
As you say, it's open. We don't know the motivations. At a point like this, would German security services start cooperating with others internationally because they have to consider political motivation, terror, as part of what they're looking into?
Sure. I mean, Eastern Germany has more of a track record of far-right extremism than the western part of the country. So what used to be DDR, the German Democratic Republic, there's a lot of unemployment, there's a lot of resentment there, and quite a lot of racism. So that will be one aspect that people will look at, but they will also look at Al-Qaeda or ISIS-inspired terrorism, and it could be anything else as well. It could even have been a private dispute. So I think we've got to keep a very open mind in this, what I call the twilight zone, between the news breaking and us actually getting a firm statement from the police or the German authorities as to what was behind it. The German domestic intelligence has come a long way since 2001, when they frankly missed the entire Hamburg cell right under their noses that hatched the 9/11 plots.
We're also hearing, besides the fact that police are saying that local residents should stay in their homes, should stay clear as far as they can, the national rail operators saying they're closing the main train station. I mean, infrastructure really has to be shut down to a certain extent when everything is so open.
Well, yes, and an important thing to remember about Germany is that it's one of the least surveilled countries in the world. Germany doesn't like CCTV. They've got to remember that quite apart from the fact that they had Nazism up until 1945, they then in Eastern Germany had the Stasi. And Angela Merkel herself, of course, grew up in Eastern Germany, and there is an aversion to surveillance of citizens. So Germany is very cautious about having that sort of surveillance. If this happened in London, say, the suspects would have been photographed multiple times, caught on cameras. The police would already be going through those photos right now. Much harder to do in Germany.
That is a really good point. And is it something that is controversial in Germany when you feel security concerns pull against cultural needs?
They do, and remember that not that long ago, under President Obama, there was this huge scandal where it turned out that US intelligence had allegedly bugged Angela Merkel's phone, which was very embarrassing because they are supposed to be allies. So, yeah, there is an aversion to surveillance, but they've got a lot better at domestic terrorism, counter-terrorism. The German authorities have stopped a lot of plots. Now, whether this is a plot or this is simply a random attack, we still don't know. Got to keep an open mind at this stage.
Absolutely. Our security correspondent, Frank Gardner, thank you very much. And just to remind you, we are watching this story. We know 2 people have been killed in that shooting in a city in the east of Germany. Police still trying to apprehend at least 1 suspect. And as Frank says, an open mind on the motivation, what is behind this, but something of great concern, something that we will keep watching and updating you on.